welcome to my channel. I am Faith and I do crocheting and crafting and thrifting and life vlogs sometimes. And today we're going to do a video about all the things that I have crocheted so far this year. For those that do not know, I am new to crocheting. I started just January, and I started for my mental health. It was a recommendation from my therapist to get something to get into, and I have pretty much become super obsessed with crocheting since I started. So let's get into all the things that I've been crocheting. First, let me address the what do you call it, animal in the room. Is that what you say? Elephant in the room. Let me address the elephant in the room. I am in the hospital. For those who don't know, I am pregnant. I am currently 31 weeks pregnant, and my baby is having a little bit of heart decelerations. Not to worry. I'm being well monitored at my hospital, and so that if anything happened, baby will be delivered safely and taken to the NICU. So nothing to worry about. That's just why I'm here. And my future videos, all of my future videos may be here in the hospital because I am probably going to be here for a few more weeks, or some parts of the video would be in hospital because I've been working on several projects. But I think today let's start talking about what I have been crocheting so far. So I'm not really gonna go in order because my brain is kind of all over the place, but we'll go in somewhat chronological order. So the first thing I ever crocheted was a blanket for my daughter, and it was my first time ever trying a granny square. The second thing I ever crocheted was the first time I tried was the first granny square I tried, and I failed miserably, like absolutely miserably. So I went on to an easier version of the granny square, and I picked it up pretty quickly, I'd say. It was my first project, so there were a lot of like issues with my squares in certain ways. Some were tighter, and then as I got better, some were done a lot better. I did the pink first, and so when I got to the yellow, my improvement had shown by then. Also, the stitch I used to sew these squares together isn't my favorite stitch. It works for what I did, and it kind of gives the blanket a kind of cool, like a cool raised a detail. But I have fallen in love with the blanket stitch, and if I knew the blanket stitch back then, I totally would have used it. I think it's more forgiving on these squares also. So like, squares are a little bit tight in putting it together, but I still really love this blanket. My daughter loves it, absolutely loves this blanket too. She sleeps with it almost every night, and so it's like one of those sentimental first time things that I'll probably have forever until my daughter grows up and decides she wants the blanket. So I'll give that project an 8 out of 10, just because of sentimentality of it being my first project and being the first thing I ever crocheted for my daughter. It's still a really beautiful blanket. I really love the scarlet edges that I gave it, and it's gonna get a lot of use. And I like anything that's practical and that's gonna get a lot of use and is loved. Second project I did so far this year is a blanket for my son, who I'm currently in the hospital for. So it's a blue and navy and light blue blanket, also with granny squares. This project was the project that totally made me tired of granny squares. Not because I didn't love the granny squares that I did, it's just that it was so many granny squares and I was tired of having to sew together granny squares. I am thinking about doing a different project soon that's gonna have granny squares in it, but it's such a much smaller project. This blanket was a lot bigger than I had intended it to be, which is fine. He could grow into it, and he'll probably have a longer use of the blanket than he would have with my intended size. But to be truthful, I did not measure or like calculate length at all. I just was like, maybe it's gonna be about this amount of squares across, maybe this across side. And I kind of drew up a little, like makeshift plan for my squares, and I just started doing it. And by the time I had all the squares and started joining, I was like, oh, these are a lot of squares. I did use the blanket stitch to put these together, and I did have to learn how to crochet a half triangle, which was really fun. At first I thought it was gonna be like really hard. It's actually really easy to do, and yeah, it was like I really enjoyed creating it. But you know, when you've been doing a project for really long, you get to a point where you're like, I could be done with this project and move on to something else. And I had like already started thinking about other projects that I really, really wanted to do. So at that point, I was like, I was itching to just be done with it and over it, so that I could go on and move on to a different project. And I did move on to a different project while I was doing that project, just because I needed like something that was gonna give me some quick satisfaction of completing something. So if I had to rate this project out of 10, I would give it a 10. I really, really enjoyed this project, and I'm happy with how it came out. I have yet to sew my strings in. Honestly, there's so many strings that I have to sew in. I've yet to sew it in. I will probably not before he comes, but he's not going to be using the blanket until he's a little older anyway. So it's a future project that probably will end up in a video of like doing things that I need to do, finishing a lot of projects that I need to finish. The next project that I did was romper for my son. It was supposed to be his coming home outfit, but at this point I don't know how big he's going to be when he is coming home, so it will just be an outfit that he would wear eventually. I really love this little romper. So this matches his blanket. I had remaining thread after I did all these squares, and I was like, I'm just gonna do a matching romper for his thing. So I did it, and it came out so cute. I really love it. I yet to find a button for the back of it. It's still incomplete in that sense. I need to find a button to put on the back, so for the loops that need to be attached. But once I find that button, it will be complete. It's a pretty easy sew. I would rate that project 10 out of 10. Also, I'm very satisfied with how it looks, and I'm excited to see how it looks on him when he's in the world and able to wear clothes. But for now, I'm trying to keep him inside. The next project I did was a beanie that also matched the romper and the blanket, and it's really cute. I also did a video on that, so if you guys want to go see that, I'll have that linked down below. And in the future, if I do another romper for him, I'll also do a tutorial or whatnot on the romper. But for now, I have a little vlog video kind of thing on me making that beanie. It's really cute and really easy, really quick. I made it in one day, and I would also give that project a 10 out of 10. The next project that I crocheted was my dress, what was supposed to be my my baby shower dress / top. I did complete it, and it looks really good. I still have to sew to like weave in the beads for the bottom of the dress. That's the last part of the dress, and put in the back strap, but that doesn't include any crocheting. The crocheting portion of the dress is completely done. And again, I'll show you a pic of it, but I don't know if I'm going to be having a baby shower, at least not until after the baby comes, because I am in the hospital and I may be here until he comes. So we may have a little celebration of him after the shower, and I'll wear my dress when I get out. It was a good thing that I planned to make it as something that could be worn during pregnancy and after pregnancy, because it would have sucked if I made it specifically to fit the belly and I couldn't wear it afterwards, you know. So that's why I keep thinking about how can I use the things that I make for a really long time instead of something that's really short lived. I really don't want to make anything that's like not that's short lived, you know. Sustainability and all of that. So yeah, I really love it. I'll give this project 8 out of 10. There's certain things that I probably would have done differently. I would have probably wanted a different pattern for the front. It's just the time that it was gonna take to complete the dress. I didn't want to spend so much time trying to figure out what pattern I wanted for the length of the bodice. So I went with something that was pretty simple and easy to like calculate, as opposed to a pattern that was going to be more difficult. Because if you watch the video that I also link down below about me doing this, I had started with a pattern that I thought I would like, and then it started going all wonky and it was not going to work out. So I had to change and go with something more simplistic that I could do to be able to complete the dress. I am so glad that I completed it, but in the future, if I do another dress, I'll probably try a different crochet pattern for the dress. This one is kind of a work in progress, which is my mood blanket, and it's been coming along really well. I had intended to do a video for this blanket, but I'm not sure what to do around the blanket. So this is going to be a work in progress. I started it when I reached viability for my son. And trigger warning here, guys, about loss of child. My husband and I lost our first son in last year June. And so this pregnancy is especially difficult mentally and emotionally. And so I'm doing therapy because of that. And so I decided to start this mood blanket when I reached viability, which is around 28 weeks. And had intended to keep going with this mood blanket that recorded my mood each day in general until my baby boy was born, maybe a little after if the blanket needs to be a little longer. But that's the intention of this mood blanket, to kind of record the emotions of this pregnancy. I will give this a 10 out of 10. It's been really fun to do. It's something I could do periodically. I could put it down, pick it back up when when I'm interested in it again. I just record my moods every day, and I have a color assigned to each mood, and it's pretty good. I'm also going to, like, with the lines that have very specific days. For example, I'm going to mark the line that has my viability date. I'm not sure how I'm going to demarcate it yet. I was thinking of like a little pendant or something, but I'm going to have children. I have children. I have my daughter. I'm going to have a son. I don't want to leave anything out that they could pull off and put in their mouth and swallow. So I want to figure out a different way of marking special days. I haven't yet, but when I do, I will let you know. But yeah, I've been really enjoying this project, and it's an ongoing crochet project, but I will still count it because I could literally use this blanket right now as a blanket if I really, really wanted to, and tie off the ends. So I count it as something I crocheted in this month. The next thing I crocheted is a blanket for my aunt-in-law. recently had a baby, and so her older daughter became a big sister, and I wanted to give the older daughter something that she could remember and she and her sister could share as they grow up. And so I crocheted this pink and purple blanket that they could share and cuddle under, and I got a little plaque from Etsy that said has their last name, and I put their last name sisters on the blanket. I'm really excited for them to receive it. I think they're going to really love it. It is going into warm weather, but the weave I chose, I think it's good for, you know, the days that they put AC on, and it's still like, it's a really soft material, so they could still cuddle under it. If she wanted to, she could roll it up, use it as like a head thing. Like, there's many ways that they could use the blanket, and it's something that's supposed to be used throughout their life if they like it enough to hold on to it. So I'm not really worried about it not necessarily being a cold season. It's meant to be able to be used throughout the year. And I would rate this project a 9 out of 10. Not only because I think I did it a little wonky in the sense that I may have added more stitches as I went down somehow, so it kind of fans out and gets a little bigger as it goes down to the end of the project. But that's okay. It's a blanket. It's gonna be, you can lay it over something and it's gonna do its job regardless. So this, I crocheted this. It's a little headscarf that I crocheted. I really love it. I wanted one that could hold my hair back. I really like it. I'm gonna make a few more, and I'm gonna try doing them with rhinestone squares. That is my next project, so look out for that. But I'm gonna try doing it with rhinestone squares and see how I like it. I am still perfecting the shape, so when I'm able to perfect the shape with this one, then I'll do a video with it. But for now, I'm just experimenting and don't want to put the pressure on myself. So yes, this, and I would rate this out of, I rate this 5 out of 10. The shape is kind of wonky. I could bend it in and kind of make it like just conform to the shape of my head, but like laying flat, it's a little bit of wonky. So I'll give it a 5 out of 10. I didn't really follow a pattern, I just went for it. Last but not least, the other thing that I crocheted was a butterfly top that I am going to gift to Eric's cousin. I haven't gifted it to her yet. I was going to, and then I ended up in the hospital, but it was a butterfly top and I really like it, and I might make one for myself when I'm no longer pregnant. But it's really cool. I just wanted to try doing it, and I think it came out pretty well for the first time. I rated it a 7 out of 10. In terms of difficulty, it wasn't that hard. The tutorial on YouTube was really easy to follow. It's just like you had to pay attention with each stitch, and going back and starting over was kind of difficult in my brain. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and thanks for making it to the end of the video. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already liked and subscribed. Press the notification button so you could be notified whenever I upload new videos. If you like crocheting, crafting, thrifting, vlogs, hanging out, I think you'd really enjoy the videos that I post on this channel. And I really want to get to know all you all, so like, tell me all the projects you guys are up to and what you have crocheted so far this year down below. Comment down below and let me know. Maybe I'll get some ideas what I might want to crochet too. I am in the hospital for weeks. I am taking suggestions. Suggest some projects for me to do while I'm here. Alright guys, bye.